Hey, Tony Gaskins here, popping in now. As y'all know, when I get sent something three or more times, then I gotta speak on it and just shine some light on it. One of the interesting things about this is a lot of times the topics that y'all will write me about multiple times, not everybody has heard of because not everybody watches the news or pays attention to social media. And some people just watch my page and I am their news. And so I've been noticing that a lot of stuff that some of y'all give me, those y'all that's really tapped in, other people be like, I ain't never heard of these people. I don't know nothing about these people. And frankly, same with me. I have to go and do research. And fortunately, I was able to hire somebody recently for, not a crazy amount of money or nothing, but just paying for some research to be done and get some facts and stuff for me. But again, you have to remember, you always have to take it with a grain of salt because not everything is out there and everybody reads different outlets. Everybody has different updates and everybody sees different things. So something is always going to be left out that's research for you. But with this Nolan Xavier Wells situation, what I have is that Nolan Wells was an 18-year-old from Ocean Springs, Mississippi. Now that's something to take into consideration. Mississippi, the climate, the racial climate, the history. Recent high school graduate from Ocean Springs High School, college freshman at Southwest Mississippi Community College, where he played wide receiver on the football team. Traveled to Horn Island on Saturday, July 4th with friends. Traveled by private boat from Ocean Springs. Went to Horn Island. July 4th, Nolan Wells was last seen alive at 3 p.m. on Horn Island. Witnesses state he chose to stay on the island to talk to a girl and other friends. The friends he arrived with left at 3:30. Alleged best friend Javon Williams states to have seen Wells at 4 p.m. on the island, western tip of Horn Island, where the currents are strong. Wells never returned home and was reported missing by his mother, Christine Wansley, at around midnight. On July 5th, at around 12:30 p.m., the Coast Guard is notified and conducts a full search of the Horn Island area. Nolan was described as approximately 6'1", 180 pounds, last seen wearing blue swim trunks, sunglasses, and no shirt. The search turns into a multi-agency cooperation. Jackson County Sheriff's Office, U.S. Coast Guard, National Park Service, Gulf Islands National Seashore, Mississippi Department of Marine Resources, Mississippi Department of Wildlife, Fisheries and Parks, Harrison County Sheriff's Office, Jackson County Fire Service, and Biloxi Fire Department, and United Cajun Navy. On July 6th at 8:45 a.m., a body is found by a National Park Ranger. The body matches Wells' description. Wells' family later publicly announces that the body is his. The body is found by a National Park Ranger. It doesn't say where the body was found at, but so some of y'all may know that. July 7th, dental records confirm the identity of the body. An autopsy is conducted, but results are still pending and may take weeks. Investigators suspect that the cause of death was drowning. Right here. Let me make sure my thing's still working. That the cause of death was drowning. Nolan Wells' family retained civil rights attorney Benjamin Crump. That's so interesting. Benjamin Crump get hired for everything just from the Trayvon Martin case. He now is the go-to guy. What we know, Nolan Wells was reported as being a special soul and would spark up a room by family and friends. Javon Williams states the last thing Wells told him was that he loved him. Before the trip, Williams had texted Wells, "Just hit me up when you get back. Just be careful, bro. Watch out for yourself." Witnesses report a heated confrontation between Wells and other members of his original group. Wells had posted highlights of similar boating excursions. He was the only black individual in his group. The friends Wells was with, Eli Jax Patolo, Eric Alcantara, Wyatt Pyron, Warren Hudson, Morgan Seymour. The Instagram accounts of these individuals have been deactivated or privatized following the discovery of Nolan Wells' body. Alcantara is known to be a hothead. Posted by Alcantara on July 5th. See you soon, brother. Also had public TikTok likes surrounding the World Cup after the death of Wells. I don't think you're going to be liking anything about the World Cup after the death of your friend, if that was your friend. You really ain't on social media like that, if that's your friend. And then here's the young lady that I'm looking at, seen speaking with girl identified as Katie on the northern tip of the island. Witnesses say the pair had gone their separate ways before Wells' disappearance. So, as you already know and assume, this is going to be a racially tense case. Every black person who loves black people is going to assume that the white boys killed them. And every white person who loves white people is going to assume that he decided to get into the water where the currents were high and the current pulled him out and he drowned. And that is just the sad, unfortunate reality of color bias and people just only being able to see with color. Now, what I will say, as being a black guy who went to a private high school 10th through 12th grade, and although I wasn't the only black guy in the group, it would be no more than 2 or 3 of us at the most. And that's if it's ironically, it would be a group of 5 of us and 2 or 3 of us would be black. But it was predominantly white. My graduating class was 42 people. And I think it probably was 5 black guys, maybe. And my son, they go to a private school their whole life. And our school system where we live is absolutely terrible. So I had to put him in private school and get some sort of an education. And all the friends that they around are pretty much all white. It'd be sometimes one other person of color. One thing that I will tell you is that just because white boys hang with black boys does not mean that they are not prejudiced, does not mean that they don't use the N-word, does not mean that they don't believe in all of the black stereotypes about black people. So just hanging with somebody does not mean that they like you. And it is very, very a huge red flag for them to arrive at the island at 3 and then leave him at 3:30. And that doesn't make a lot of sense at all. And to me, yes, he could have went out there. He could have been mad. He could have went out in the water and got caught in the current. Yes, that could be the case. I would believe that an autopsy would show if there was some type of struggle, but we also don't know if he was on the boat and got knocked off the side of the boat. And they just thought, well, we'll just let him swim back to the shore, because he could swim, and we'll just let him swim back to the shore, and I did see a video that somebody posted where everybody was looking to what they call the bank. I'm calling it the shore. And you could hear some yelling in the video and the guy yelling, screaming something like, "You're not going to get on this boat," or something like that. "You're not getting on this boat." And that, one of those situations where that does shine some light on that. Now, this is the thing. Without all the facts and having all the facts and just knowing everything that happened, all we could do is speculate. But at this point in it, for one, you can't see through your race. You can't see through the bias. But this is a very good lesson right here for parents and understanding, how to protect your children and also just being cautious of this thing. And me and my wife, we tell our son all the time, Tell them all the time, like, hey, be careful. One wrong choice, one wrong decision. Like, don't press the line. Don't do too much. Like, don't be out there acting a fool. My son go to the beach with his friends at certain times. They be out there to the beach. Could be out there in the water and get caught up in the current. They get in arguments. You know, they argue and stuff, hurt each other feelings verbally, but never got physical. You know, never heard no telling of him getting physical. If he ever got physical with a friend in his friend group, they never told us. He does. They have a group chat, and it's 2 white guys, another white Colombian guy, but he would pass as white if you didn't know his family from Colombia. And then he has a black and white guy with the mom is a white woman from another country, I think Romania, and then the dad is a African American. And so he's, light skinned like my son. Then my son is, black and Asian, I guess you would call it, because my wife is Indian Jamaican and black Jamaican. And so I'm guessing the Indian is considered a Asian of some, I guess. And so that's why my son has lighter skin, because my wife, dad is Indian. And so I say that to say, so you got 2 light skins and then 3 white guys, and they in a group chat. They hang out together. They do everything together. They go everywhere together. They banter, everything boys do. And things could get heated. Conversation could get heated. And the thing about the young mind, what I'm going to venture to say is, if I believe he got in a fight with one of them boys and he got thrown into the water. He got knocked over into the water or pushed off the boat into the water, and they just figured they'll ride off to make a point and probably thought he'll make it back in. But if he had been hit in the head, he could have been dizzy, he could have been faint, he could have been whatever. Either that or something happened to him on the boat, whether they had cocaine, alcohol, but all that stuff should come out in the autopsy. The other thing that could happen, because we saw it happen with Malcolm Jamal Warner, I believe his name is, who died in the current. He went out there and got in the water, and the current was rough, and I think they were saying like his daughter or somebody was saved, but he got caught in the current. So it does happen. If it was something that was innocent and it was just of him just going out and getting in that water, I did just see that on the news. I've been seeing it on the news every week, people getting caught in the current and dying. And so that is a very real thing. And the thing about it is you can think that, I think something happened to him, just personally, just outside looking in. But hey, sometimes people do stuff like, hey, I'm gonna go get out here in this water by myself. Really struggle seeing a black person of all people getting in the ocean water by themselves for no reason and going that deep. Like I struggle. That just don't make logical sense. Like, it's just not something that we'll do. Like now we could, but it just, I know how to swim, and I've gotten out there in the water by myself, but I never go past where everybody else at. Like it's always somebody further out there than me. And as soon as I got to grab that sand with that big toe, I'm turning around. I got to turn around because I'm scraping this sand with this big toe. No, and I just feel like that's a common thing. Now, I will tell y'all, we was at Daytona Beach as a kid, and we went out there with my daddy, and I was on one shoulder, my sister was on the other shoulder, and he hadn't went too far, and he got caught in a current. And I just remember him being very quiet, very panicked, and just very serious. I mean, focused to no end, and was just at us on each shoulder and was just, I guess, just digging for his life, trying to create some type of traction in that dirt, and was being pulled out. And I could picture in my head us being back in the hotel room and him laying prostrate, if that's the term for it, like flat on his belly on the bed for like a long time. And when he tell the story, it is a story of terror. It is a nightmare. He tells it as if we was gonna die that day, but somehow his toenail was able to dig a little bit of dirt over and over again And he started doing everything he could think of, going diagonal, doing everything he ever heard of how to get out of a current. And that's how we made it out. My daddy can't swim. And he is 5'7". So it ain't a lot of height. So you ain't got to be too deep for him to be about to drown. And I think he was saying like the water was like up to his nose. And we was up on his shoulder. And I remember being on his shoulder, and I remember that time, but I had no idea because my feet weren't on the ground. I had no idea what the struggle was for him, but I could tell by his intenseness that we could have died. And so I say that to say, yes, that is a real possibility, but it really does not bode well with an argument. Now, some people are heady and they get in an argument, they get stressed, they get angry, they get mad, and they're like, you know what, forget it. And they just go out there and get in the water, and just go out there. And some people get to that point to where they so distraught, they so angry, they so mad, they might consider taking their own life or putting them in a situation where their life could be, at risk. But I don't believe that either. I just don't see that. You're 18 years old, you having a good time, you got your shirt off. That means you built right. That means you definitely got you a few abs and you confident. Shirt off, sunglasses on, blue swim trunks, not black. But then, and you also in Mississippi and you got rich friends because they got a boat. One of the friends, mama is a judge. I read her statement. She said her son completely cooperated, and got to take that with a grain of salt, because just because he talked to him don't mean he told him the truth. And so she deactivated her Facebook. All of them deactivated their page. And I get it. You just don't want a bunch of people on your page trying you in the public eye and all that. But the one friend, which is known to be a hothead, they say, supposed to see you soon, brother. That's a love that right there is real sketchy to me, because the other ones deactivated their page, or now all of them deactivated their page. So the page is deactivated, but you on there, see you soon, brother. And then you liking World Cup stuff. To me, that right there, just that alone will make me kind of implicate. And here's the thing. This is where y'all have to tell your son. Tell your son this, what I'm telling you. Be a snitch. Be a snitch. Snitch. Snitch, snitch, snitch. Tell your son to snitch. Tell your daughter to snitch, because this what y'all don't realize. That rap music has got us into the no snitching. I'm going to tell y'all, I wasn't raised like that. I never forget when a guy I know knocked out, a black guy that I know knocked out a white guy that I know. The black guy was in the high school. The white guy was in the middle school with me. The white guy didn't bother nobody. He was quiet. He was rich in my opinion, because he wore the nice Vans. He wore the Jinko jeans. And he was a cool, swaggy white guy. He did not bother nobody. We had an idiot black guy who was jealous of him and would try to pick on him and start stuff. And the black guy, just knowing the power and influence he had, went to an older black guy who was in high school, who was 3 grades ahead of us, and went and told him, hey, this boy messing with me. And the black boy, thinking that that's real, came over to the white boy and was like, hey, what's up, boy? Hey, you mess with my homeboy? And the white boy just was quiet and just kept walking. And it was like, he was trying to be like cool, calm, and collected. Like, he was so cool and swaggy, he didn't try to defend himself. He didn't say, what are you talking about, man? I don't know what you're talking about. I did not mess with him. I don't even know what you're talking about, bro. Like, I just saw him walking, being quiet. And the next thing you know, the black boy that I know haul back and hit him as hard as he can. Boom, right in the jaw. White boy hit the pole because we walking by a gate. He like fell to the pole or to the gate and like slumped down and just slid down. I'm an empath. That stuff hurt my heart. We got to the thing. We got to the track. I think we probably all still went out there. The white boy probably got up after a little while. We all went out to the track, did our PE class. We went back to the PE locker room, and me and my cousin, I ain't throw my cousin under the bus, but it's my first cousin. Our daddy's his brothers. We the same age. He a couple months older than me. He a month and 35 days older than me. No. He probably 35 days older than me. His birthday January 30th or 31st, and mine March 8th. And we went right in that coach office and snitch. Well, we told the story. Because if you wrong, you wrong. And that white boy ain't do nothing wrong for the black boy to come knock him out. And then the other black boy who made it up. And so when we came out the office, we was in the coach's office and we snitched. When we came out the office, the black boy who started it all, hey, what y'all said? We told him we ain't see nothing. We told him we was just walking, and that thing, no fight broke out. Like we ain't see nothing. Oh, all right, good. And then I think the black boy who started ended up getting in trouble because then it started coming out. They were saying Tony told. Think Tony told. But for some reason, I must have an angel behind my head because nobody ever bothered me. Like they just didn't mess with me. I don't know whether because I had a bunch of cousins or what, but I snitch. And teach your son to snitch. I'm gonna tell you like that right. That's how snitches get stitches. All right, bring the stitches on. Stay out of trouble, and ain't nobody got to snitch. Stop doing what you're not supposed to do, and ain't nobody got to snitch. And if I do something I ain't supposed to do, I ain't gonna be mad at somebody tell on me. I'm not gonna, that's what I get. Shouldn't have been doing what I wasn't supposed to be doing. I'm not gonna get mad at somebody tell on me. Like we all do stupid stuff. We all make bad choices. If we got to pay for it, you got to pay for it. Like our ignorance does not absolve you from the law. So it's stuff we do that we don't know no better. And if we got to go sit down for it, that's what we need. That's how you learn. And so listen, I'm hoping that if there was foul play, that there's justice served. I don't have a lot of faith in the state of Mississippi though. The state of Mississippi has a very, very bad history with race relations. And I would venture to believe that in the state of Mississippi, black people is still not seen like white people. Like that Mississippi boy, like Mississippi Burning, that movie, Ghost of Mississippi, like all the movies was based in Mississippi of the racism. And y'all know in the States that there wasn't a movie made by, I know in Florida, maybe we had Rosewood, but y'all know the places in the States where there wasn't a movie made about the racism in your state, it's still racism to this day. And a lot of people won't admit that, but it's still racism. You still prejudice and bias. Like I just see it in subtle ways. Like I might be using a website trying to do business, and they don't believe that the Airbnb is being booked by Tony Gaskins, or they don't believe that this really me. This my email. Like I be having to take pictures, everything, like all kind of verification. And like when you go to do something, like right now this economy is shot. I go try to buy a car. They know they need to sell that car better than they need to breathe, and they won't give me no deal. They won't give me no deal. But I know if Billy or Tom come in there, they finna get them old deal. Or at least I assume. But it's just you see like they take you through the ringer. Like they got the fine print written to where the underwriter, if you need to apply this fine print to an immigrant, a person of color, apply this fine print. But if you are dealing with one of your good old boys, you could ignore the fine print. You got the power to overwrite. You the underwriter, you could overwrite. You got the power to go ahead and approve them for this loan because they part of the club. But we gonna write it so strict and stringent to where if we trying to box them out, you could do it because it says right here, this is what we require. Knowing that they done let other people who didn't meet those requirements through the gate. And which one of us are going to take the time to file a lawsuit and to hire a forensic accountant to go and like subpoena all of the approvals to see, was anybody else approved for a house loan, for a mortgage from this bank who is an opposite race of a black person with an equal credit profile. And that has been proven. Like they have shown, I can't remember if it was Navy Federal or whatever bank, that they were saying like 75% of black people was being denied. But the black people credit profile would be as strong or stronger than the white people who was approved. And I think it was a big class action lawsuit or something like that, one of them banks. But that's a real thing that people deny. Like, this is factual things. So people deny that it exists. And I'm gonna tell you like this right here. Like, if you the only black person in a group of all whites, you are outman, and you will be bullied. You will be talked about. You are what they call token blackie. And you gotta talk to your sons about that and tell them, like, listen, bro, you got to be careful. Like, you go through a lot. Like my sons was telling us last night, he was like, y'all only seeing the things I had to do, the things I had to hear, the things I had to go through, going to a predominantly white school. And I never forget, I took him to like a public school football game with me. And it was, black schools pretty much. So 90% of the people out there is black. And my son walking to the concession stand and stuff, and the girls is hollering at him. Like the girls like following him, like walking by him, like asking him for his phone number, asking him for his number, like shooting a shot, like looking at him. And he came back to me and he was like, Dad, this is crazy. Like, man, I like black people. Like, I like this kind of school. He's like, I want to go to a black school. He was like, all these girls are checking me out. Like, they all like walking up to me. They staring at me so hard. Like, he was like, at my school, I'm like chopped liver. Like, they treat me like crap. Like, I'm the ugliest person in the world. And y'all could go look at my son page and tell he not ugly. Like, you go look at him, he not ugly. Now, he had some rough days growing up. He had that eczema. And I tell him, I say, son, I think they just seen how you look coming up with that skin condition and all of that. But they're not realistically coming out their mouth now saying you ugly. And so, but I say that to say, you got to go where you celebrate it. Sometimes you just not celebrate it. And so that's a thing. And what I mean by that is that's what's the issue with this situation. Now, Alcantara, that's a different kind of name. Like that last name, like I don't know what that last name. That's a special last name right there. That they say is the hothead. And then here is, and then well, y'all can see the picture. They got a picture of the picture of the boys or whatnot. Let me see if I can save the picture. And I don't know if they passed because he was just a freshman. So I don't know if they drinking Alka-Seltzer water on here. Seltzer water, or some little brews, because they say they doctored the thing. Oh, okay, I ain't got it on. I ain't got it on here. So you know what? Let me just pull up the picture like this, that I ain't got to pull up my notes that my assistant sent me. Pull up the picture. And y'all will be able to where the regular pitch at now that they had. What they trying to, it's just different little things to where, and then the Sun, they gonna post a picture and then gonna blur out all three of the white boys' faces and then just keep the black boy face. It's like, what is y'all doing at the Sun? Like, they all the same age, so why y'all can show his face but can't show the other faces? And then here go this other one right here now. Wow, this one here two hours ago on the Advocate, where they showing this here boy here. Yeah, there ain't no Alka-Seltzer water there in that picture. Let me look at this right here. Let me pull that up. And you see that right there now. You see, boy, he having him old Brewski. That's old Brewski-ooski. That boy there. Brewski. You hear me? Look. When you like this right here, your mouth like that, and you got all that right there running down your chest, like that right there, and somebody trying to snitch, because how do we have this picture? Somebody trying to snitch, and that's good. Clap it up for him. Somebody, because how this picture out, and you see, my dog had his shirt off, got on a couple of abs, and I could just tell by this little hairdo, by this little necklace he got on, by that little smile on his face, them glasses, that he that's his crowd. That's who he fit. Because notice he ain't got no braids, he ain't got no dreads, like he ain't got no 2-strand twists. Like, this is his crowd. But also, I grew up with these kind of boys, these looking boys. And I'm gonna tell you, one thing they is gonna do is drop that N-word. I'm gonna tell you that now. They're gonna drop that N. They're gonna drop that N on you now. I'm gonna tell you that. And so it's just like, man, y'all couldn't get now other black friend. Like, my goodness. You need to get a biracial friend in there? Like, my goodness. So I'm gonna tell y'all that too. Have a requirement that is somebody else of color in the friend group, because there is a thing. So here's the thing. Nolan Xavier Wells, 18, is currently missing after a trip to Horn Island, Mississippi on July 4th. His friends allegedly don't know what happened, according to authorities. Nolan traveled to the island. Now, this what I'm gonna tell you too is my son got white friends, and he hang out with those white friends. One thing I'm gonna tell you, whoever talking to the girls is the cool guy. The other friends, if there's no funny business, is not leaving him. Even if they get into a knockdown, drag out argument, if they brought him over there on that boat to that bank, they gonna ride back. Even if it's in silence, they gonna ride back in silence. So with all that right there being the case, it just don't add up that you finna leave. You finna take your homeboy over there to the thing at 3:00, and then y'all leave him at 3:30. Because for one, he's not gonna stay to talk to no girl, knowing y'all his ride back. That ain't adding up. That don't add up. And so I'm hoping that somebody really do some due diligence. And y'all, we might need to start our investigative agency and start doing some private investigation and finding some stuff out. I mean, we don't know nobody. We can't interview nobody, but I'm gonna tell y'all something now. Although it's just July 4th, and although them brewskis was flowing, the Lord, it's crazy how the Lord worked. And this what I think now. It's crazy how the Lord worked. You ever watch the crime documentaries and the crime stuff on Dateline and all of that? And it be one little thing. It be one little thing that tip it off. The person get caught because of one little thing. And I be like, that got to be God. Like, I can't put all of that just on man and forensic science. Like, I'm like, that got to be God. Like, God was in the shadows and say, you not finna get away with this. And so I believe there will be one little sign. Remember the Murdaugh case? I can't remember if I just read he got off or something, or he getting out, or Trump pardoned him or something. I can't remember what I read, if that was the case, but it was just something just boom. It get tipped off. It gets tipped off. And I believe that in the midst of them Budweisers and Miller Lights and Bushes getting thrown back, somebody saw that altercation. Somebody saw what happened. And somebody saw if that boy got pushed into that water or knocked over into that water. And somebody gonna tell. Somebody is having nightmares and they gonna tell. And I'm gonna tell you like this right here to the young men who see this, who was there. Tell the truth. Because you will be better off being charged, because you in Mississippi. You finna get off anyways. You might as well, or have to do 4 years. You might as well tell. You might as well tell, because you're gonna be haunted the rest of your life if y'all did something to that boy, to Nolan, and trying to get away with it. And the further you try to run and the more you try to get away with it, the worse it's gonna be. And people be like, oh, Tony, you wouldn't want your son to get caught. You wouldn't want your son to tell. Yes, I would. If my son was out there, I'd be like, son, listen right here. What you telling me is not adding up. And I'm going to tell you like this right here, boy. You finna get out of my house and you finna get from around me until I could look you in your eyes and hear your story and tell that you telling me the truth. And I will grill that boy for 48 hours straight. He'll be throwing up, vomiting, crying, snotting, everything. But I got to feel and believe in my spirit you telling me the truth. If I can't feel that, believe that, boy, you finna get up out of here, boy. You finna get up out of here. And if I find something in your room, if I find something on your phone, I'm checking my phone records because you're on my phone line. I'm finna read them text messages. Because I'm gonna tell y'all something like right here. Some stuff was text now. They delete the text out the phone. They can't delete it off that record. All they phone records finna be subpoenaed. They and oh, Tony, you gonna tip them out. They gonna hide it. You can't hide that. That's already sent. Once that's transmitted, it's out there. Them records coming out. Now they could have the sense. They could have the sense not to text nothing. They could have sent it on Snapchat or WhatsApp where it's encrypted. Could have sent it on Snapchat where it delete. But if it was some foul play, it finna come out. And I'm gonna tell you something. One thing them folks don't want to do is hear the mouth of black people. They tired of it. They got tired of it in Martin Luther King Day with the marches. And said, man, let's get these people something, because boy, they keep making all this noise, man. And they don't want to hear black folk. If black folk don't believe it and go to pressing the line, man, they gonna get tired and they gonna dig a little deeper. They gonna figure somebody got to take that fall. Somebody got to admit what happened. And so the lesson from this is you got to really learn from this stuff. A family have lost their son. The same way with the other way, where the black boy took the life of the white boy. Families are losing their sons. Those boys were 17 in Texas, and now you got these boys in Mississippi, 18. And one thing you have to realize too, sometimes that stuff happens like that. It's almost like a trickle-down effect. It's almost like the balancing of the scales. Like the media saying, hey, a black boy killed a white boy and black people caping for him. All right, let's show this case. where the black boy get killed and he was with all white boys. And we gonna let the white boys off because of what the black boy did to the white boy in Texas. We gonna let these white boys off. And we finna get our get back. Y'all not finna be out here running amok, out here like circus monkeys, killing us at track meets. We finna get our get back. And that's how that happened. That's how that happened. And they use this. It's like puppets on a string. It's propaganda too, because now it really weakens the white race when a black boy could take the life of a white boy and not get the death penalty, not get life. He got 35 years. He's 17. He gonna get out. He gonna be in his 40s, but he gonna have a lot of life left if he healthy. Man, the racist white people, they don't like that. They don't like that L. I could guarantee you every white person in Mississippi don't like that. They don't like that L. They want the death penalty. So now that a black boy has turned up dead and he was with all white boys, the racists in the system, they finna do everything they can. Because listen, you got police in the system that's racist. Just like the police who text message came out. There was a wreck and he sent a message, said, I just found out there was a nigger. He used the N-word. Well, he probably said nigger. That there was an N involved in this. So no rush. Take your time, let them die. And so that's a police. Imagine he is the police that's gathering evidence at the case of Nolan Wells. See, people don't think about that. People, that's reality. That's a real thing. I'm not pulling this. I'm not pulling a race card. I ain't making this up. And if people got mad with me for my stance on the young man in Texas, the young brother, Carmelo Anthony, who killed the young white boy, it was a few folks got mad with me. And that's why I try to tell y'all, I call a spade a spade. It ain't about me being self-hating, black-hating, none of that. So in that case right there, Carmelo Anthony was 1,000% wrong. He was not beaten, battered, or bruised, and did not have a right to stab that boy. Did not have a need to stab that boy. But then over here, this young brother, this black boy being dead, it looked like funny business. It looked like one of these white boys killed him. And that they banding together as white brothers to say, we're not going to tell because there's not enough evidence. There's not enough proof. If we all stick to our story, we're going to get off. We're young, we're white, we're well-to-do, we're in Mississippi. The prosecutor or whoever is the investigator, they won't have a leg to stand on. The only way we get in trouble is if somebody rolls over, somebody tells. And that's the story. And I'm going to tell you, there is a sense of brotherhood. There is an unwritten law, unwritten code to where that not snitching is written in our DNA. It ain't even just about the street code and rap music saying don't snitch, don't be a rat. It's really in our DNA. Like, we don't want to tell. Like, we take pride. That's a part of our masculinity, keeping a secret, not telling. We see telling as a woman's trait, a feminine thing, a weakness. Me personally, I'm gonna tell. I'm gonna tell because I fear God. God already know what happened. So if I'm out here lying, I got to answer to God. Nah, I got to answer to God. Like, I ain't worried about your prison. I'm worried about God. I'm worried about the wrath of the Lord. I ain't scared of prison. There's a lot of people in prison. They're doing just fine. Commissary full, eating like a king, doing better than I'm doing out here in the free world. And I ain't worried about your prison. I'm worried about hell. I'm worried about the wrath of God. I'm worried about spending eternity on the other side. That what I'm worried about. So you do something around me and it turns fatal. Oh, I'm telling on you. I'm telling on you. Nah, I'm not getting caught up. You just selling some drugs. You got what they call victimless crimes. You selling some drugs and all that. I ain't getting caught up in that. But now you take a life now. You take a life and it wasn't justified. Now it's different now if it was justified, because I'll take a life if it's justified. Nah, it wasn't justified, and I know about it. Oh, singing like a canary. I'm singing like a canary. If I got to leave and go live in another country, I'd do that. I would do that. Tonight, if they want to retaliate or whatever, I go live in Bali. I'll be in Tahiti somewhere, kit up with my feet kit up, sipping on some Thais, which I call my ties, and living my little good life, fishing and gutting that fish and eating it right there over the fire. I'm telling on you, it ain't nothing manly about watching cruelty and injustice and then keeping it a secret. That ain't nothing manly. That's demonic. That's you working for Satan, and guess what? You're going to hell, because you're going to live with that guilt every single day the rest of your life. God not finna forgive you. Yeah, you get forgive for that, but you're really not going to be forgive, because you're going to hang yourself. You're going to be going through it. And the thing about it is, you just got to get past in color, and you got to just look at what's being presented. Some ain't adding up. All them people was out there where that tide was high. He the only one dead. Come on now. It's different if two, three people got caught up in it. That's different. Then the other thing is, you got boats. So if he out there, it's people out there. They see you going out there. So if you go out there, somebody watching, somebody see you. You go to struggling with that water. You come up, get a little out. You come up, get a little out. Help! All them boats, somebody zooming right up to you on their jet ski or right up on their boat. There's somebody zooming right up to you. Boom. Hey, come here, Nolan. Hey, get up here, boy. You're not just out there. It's different if he out there midnight and they doing a skylight date, and he getting an argument with the girl, and he said, I'm finna go for a little dip, and then don't come back. But you out there in the middle of broad daylight. No, some fishy going on now. And here's the thing though, we live in a world and we live in a system to where even if they said there was no foul play, I still wouldn't believe it. It just don't add up. I still wouldn't believe it now. Especially when they say there was a big argument. There was a big argument. Witnesses say there was a big argument, there's a big fallout. They brought him over there and didn't take him back. And they saying the last time they seen him, but then so they saying the boys left at 3:30. And then the other boy, Javon, that sound like a black boy name. Javon saying he saw him at 4. Now, just like with the Carmelo thing, it was a black boy who invited him over to the tent, and it was a black boy who changed his story. I'm hoping Javon ain't working on the wrong side of the team. And then he said the last thing the boy said to him is, I love you, bro. Or I love you. So they do be saying love you, bro. But that's not really something to report, because that's just like a colloquial phrase. Like it's like they reporting that. Like that's in the notes. Like it was a sentimental moment. Like he was saying, hey man, I love you. It's an end for me. I'm about to go end it all. Like they trying to spin it like that. And then they talking about saw him over there on the north side or whatever, where the tide was high. They put that where the tide was high, and trying to give another alibi. Oh, the tide was high over there. Black people can't swim, and the tide was high. Oh yeah, we already know what happened. He got out there and drowned. And then they saying he drowned. He absolutely could have drowned, but that don't mean he wasn't pushed over the side of the boat. That don't mean he wasn't pushed over the side of the boat. They went to laughing, thinking he just playing in the water, or none of that right there. That don't mean he wasn't given 15 Jägermeisters, fireballs, and was tipsy and drunk and pushed over. That don't mean, you see what I'm saying? So it got to be a lot to come out to see, like, they saying drowning, but this Mississippi, they don't want their judge son to get in trouble. They don't want these boys to get in trouble. They know about the Carmelo Anthony case. So they're like, hey, they looked out for their own. They capping for him, caping for him. Let's cape for our own. And so you got all that could go into it now. Student pilot safely lands plane after instructor allegedly opened the cockpit door and jumped to his death mid-flight. Y'all hear these demons that's out here? This stuff don't even add up no more. Stuff don't even add up. They showing a man instructing, jumped to his death. Told the young lady he was instructing, you know what to do. Keep moving forward. And jumped to his death. It's like, bro, was you trying to be cool and sassy? Do you have a y'all forget my reading something now. So yeah, this right here, this and listen, it's gonna be long. Like they gonna take their time with this. They're gonna drag this out. They really want the public to forget about it for a while. They don't want this to be tried in the court of public opinion. They really gonna try to drag it out. They want some of the findings. The ones who want to do wrong. They want the memories to get blurry. You know, if it's foul play in there, they want that memory to get blurry. They want evidence to be lost, to be destroyed. Because at the end of the day, a lot of people don't think about this. A lot of people don't admit and don't process that there are very little feelings. Like your average person could not care less about the death of somebody of another race. And listen, unless you are an empath, and that's why I take the stances I take, because I'm an empath. Like I care for all humans regardless of their race. That is not common. That is not the norm. And for those of us who are like that, we don't need a cookie. We understand. I understand there's other people out there like me. But I also can feel. And even being an empath, being a very empathetic person, I also can feel and then can admit that there are times that things happen in the world and it's hard to process and it's hard to wrap my mind around it. And it's hard to fully feel the gravity of the event if I'm too far removed from it. And if you notice, stuff happens and nothing stops in the world. So majority of black people know about Nolan Wells. Nobody's posting a black square for moment of silence. All the party promoters in Mississippi is still promoting their party for Friday night. All of the beauty brands and the online boutiques is still posting their 4th of July sale. Like the world keeps moving. People do not be caring about other people. We got bills to pay. We got life to live. We worried about our own family. So it's unfortunate that you can live and die and nobody blink an eye. And so that's what you have to think about with a case like this. The white people down to the courthouse could not care less that Nolan Wells is dead. Like the white people on the police force could not care less. It's going to be black people on the force and down there that could not care less because they don't know them. If you don't know them, you have no connection to them, no relation to them. If you have a negative view of black people, They literally have said over and over, not just blacks, but even other races, like the Paraguayan senator that's calling the soccer player Mbappe a black piece of S, saying that the highest level of the most competent person he's ever heard speak is a chimpanzee. Like, she out here saying that kind of stuff by a black man on this here level, and she's spewing that kind of hate. And he went back at her. So that's what. So think about that. This is a woman who was a senator, and she talking about one of the most beloved soccer players in the world, one of the most respected, and is probably right now in the top 3, in the top 5 soccer players in the world, which they call football. And that's like a senator going at LeBron, calling him a monkey, a chimpanzee, a black piece of S. Like, you can't wrap your head around it if you're not into soccer. You don't understand how big Mbappe is. But think about LeBron James and a senator saying he a black piece of S. The uproar that will happen. So this is a senator. And then we just seen the police who said, take y'all time getting out there. It's an N-word in the crash. Let them die. That's how a lot of racist people feel. They feel like, lost another one. Good. Hope we lose some more. We need all of them to die. You know they can't swim. They need to be swinging from trees like monkeys, going out there trying to swim. And they really don't care. Look at the comedians at the Kevin Hart roast. The man said even George Floyd couldn't catch his breath. You don't joke about that unless you don't care about black life. Like, there's a million other jokes you could have told. You could have joked about somebody losing their leg, but they still got their life. You don't joke about a man being suffocated and dying when he got, I don't know if he had children, but you got family that's still living. Like, who finds that funny? That shows you your racism. And then they tried to say, somebody interviewed a black boy and said, well, speak about, him, who you know, and how you know him. No, bro. Just because you did something nice for a black person don't mean you're not racist. Don't mean you're not prejudiced. Don't mean you care for black life. You could be doing that out of guilt. So once you show me who you is, that's you. Ain't no, I helped this black guy, but this other black guy, I told a joke about him dying. No, boy. Slap you in your mouth. Comedy and all. Laugh at this backhand I'm finna give you. Laugh at that. Since everything is cool, laugh at this backhand. I don't even know George Floyd, and I'll slap butt in his mouth. Because that's wrong. That man got family members that love him. And he telling jokes about he couldn't catch it. No, you can't say everything out your mouth. I'm finna slap them teeth down your throat. And what if somebody took that approach? That's the thing. Everything ain't open season. And so that's what I want y'all to realize, is that this case could literally be completely covered up, especially in the state of Mississippi. Especially in the state of Mississippi, this case could be completely covered up. Like, there could absolutely be foul play, and this boy could have been killed, and it'll never see the light of day. And that mama will have to fight with everything in her. And yes, although I don't know how good attorney Benjamin Crump is, and I honestly believe he probably was just the closest thing to it, I honestly believe he was probably just the closest thing to it. But I don't think that, let me see something real quick. Because this lady saying, oh, Lord. We got that pricing wrong. And so that's the thing. You got to think about that. That's the reality of it. And we could literally see this right here happen. So keep your eyes open, be praying for the family, but also you gotta pray. You gotta position. You gotta be able to, like, for your kids, to where when you know your child going out to hang out with friends at 17, 18, 19, 20, because you see these deaths happen, even though they are cross races and all of that, because you see these deaths happening, you got to be able to realize and see that this is a situation where you have to talk to your child and say, you see what happened? I know you're going to hang out with your friends, but you need to be careful. You need to know that this is what could happen. Y'all out there drinking and you underage drinking and you own a boat, you in the water, you got to be careful. You got to be careful. So, hey, this Tony Gaston. God bless you. All the important links in the description. Thank y'all for the support with the Boys Summer Program. If you single, join Destiny. Somebody just put $9.99 a week. Nope. The point of it being $9.99 a week is for the people who not intentional. If you're intentional, it's $99 a year. So you got to think about that. You could get 52 weeks for $100, or it would be 10 weeks. So you have to shift your thinking and wait till you can afford $100 before trying to date, versus that way you just you done. You pay one time, you done for the whole year, instead of doing it weekly and end up going into overdraft. So if you that tight financially, don't do it. My brother,